God has blessed us.
Yeah.
God has blessed us with many things, but we have been wasteful and have not utilized the inheritance that we have the way we should have.
Yeah.
Now look at what the Bible says. The Bible says, and then when everything had gone bad, when everything went just wrong for him.
Yeah.
He went out and tried to find a job.
Well.
You know, he had all of that money. The young man could have gone to college.
Yeah.
But he decided not to. He could have gone to trade school.
Yeah.
But he had no desire to. He could have taken his money and invested it.
Yeah.
On the Wall Street of Jerusalem.
Yeah.
He could have become the first architect to build high-rise buildings in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
But the young man took everything that he had and he blew it and wasted it in riotous living.
Yeah.
The young man could have done better for himself. The young man could have said, well, my daddy left me a good inheritance.
Yeah.
The young man could have said, well, my family name is on the line.
Yeah.
The young man could have said, well, I got something to start me off in life.
Yeah.
Well, I'll find myself in this position later on in life.
Yeah.
But instead, the young man wanted to run with the jet set.
Yeah.
He wanted to stay up all night long.
Yeah.
He wanted to party until the party was over.
Yeah.
And then he partied the next night and the next night until all of the party and money was gone. Am I right about it? And then when he lost his money, he lost all of his friends. When he lost his money, he could not find JoJo anymore. He could not find Mary Sue anymore. He could not find the one that said, you know, man, I'm going to be there with you through thick and thin. Am I right about it? I came by to tell you young people that when you find yourself and your back is against the wall, when you find yourself and nobody, you get yourself in trouble and you have to go down to the courthouse, your friends are not going to be anywhere found. Am I right about it? You're going to have to call on somebody who cares for you. And the young man had to find out the hard way. He had to find out, well, nobody wants to be here and nobody cares about anybody that don't have any money. The young man had to find out the hard way. And what he found out was, well, I'm going to have to get me a job. And the Bible says that nobody would give him any work. Isn't that something, how things can get bad for you? And then the unemployment line gets so bad that you have to take whatever comes your way. All right about it. The young man didn't have a job, and then there was one unusual and rare job opportunity that seemed to present itself out of nowhere. I've seen a lot of men in a bad off predicament, but not many men have I ever seen decide I'm going to go down and take a job feeding hogs. I've seen men that take jobs digging ditches and doing a whole lot of work. But I've never seen a man decide I'm going to fill in an application to go down and feed some pigs. Am I right about it? Because you don't need any skill in feeding hogs. All you need to do is have a tough stomach. Am I right about it? And make sure that the smell and the stench from the slop doesn't make you throw up. And so the Bible says that he took a job feeding the pigs. And then when he got down there, he was so hungry that he looked down at the food that the pigs were eating. And he began to think, you know what? It began to look to him as though it was a delicacy because he hadn't eaten any good food in a long time. And while that young man began to get ready to get down there and put down his mouth with the pigs,
Yeah.
the young man began to think all of a sudden.
Yeah.
He came out of that fog of confusion.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he came to himself.
Yeah.
He looked at the pigs and he looked at the slop.
Yeah.
And then he looked at himself and he said, what in the world am I doing down here?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go back home to my daddy.
Yeah.
For my father's house, they have room enough to spare.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to my father's house and say, Daddy,
Yeah.
I've sinned against heaven and I've sinned against you.
Yeah.
I'm not no longer worthy to be called your son,
Yeah.
but I just want you to make me as a hired servant.
Yeah.
And the Bible says that the father saw him a long way off.
Yeah.
And when the father saw him, the father got excited.
Yeah.
And the book says he ran from the house, ran out the road to
Yeah.
meet him. And the old man ran out to get the boy, and he knew the boy had finally come home. The neighbors had forgot about the boy. The neighbors forgot about asking about him.